You have some thoughts on the extreme tent poles that they have on some
Yeah,
of these things.
I mean, Sirianni talks a lot about not wanting to be extreme in anything.
Yep.
Wise man avoids all extremes, that kind of thing. When you look at certain, metrics for this offense, I mean, they are kind of extreme in a bunch of kind of fundamental, shape of the offense type things. I mean, the 32nd in the league in motion is something that we've talked about. Now, there was a little bit more motion against Dallas, and
Yes.
some of it actually, you could see it kind of be useful. There's that exit motion with the running back, kind of, exiting the formation at the beginning. Used that very effectively on a quarterback draw early in the game. Used it again later on an in route to Dallas Goedert. It actually worked very well on the play that AJ Brown fumbled. I mean, the play, up until the point of the fumble, that motion helped. So saw it a little bit in that game. Still 32nd in motion. 30th in the league at frequency of using bunch formations. And we've seen how much trouble the Eagles have against bunches on the other side of the ball. Not something they use on offense. 31st in the league at using asymmetric formations. So 3-by-1 as opposed to 2 receivers on each side. So the Eagles are 31st in the league at that. And that might seem like a small thing, but
that seems bizarre to me.
Yeah, I mean, those 2-by-2 sets, I mean, it makes it easier for defenses to disguise. Right. It also makes it easier for them to follow their coverage rules. Right. On the flip side, we've seen the Eagles defense struggle a lot with those asymmetric formations, 3-by-1, motioning into 4-by-1, combining the asymmetry with the motion, something the Chiefs did very well in the Super Bowl, things that other teams have done very well against the Eagles defense as well. 32nd, we've talked about this before, at lining up under center. And, when you look at the play action metrics, the Eagles are 8th in play action, but when you just watch the film, the play action has very little bite. I mean, it's out of shotgun. It's oftentimes just a kind of half-hearted,
right.
Like the running back is clearly not going to get the ball. He's scanning for blitzers and stuff while pretending to sort of go through the play action, and that's in part because of the fact that it's not happening from under center, and then this is more just me. Anecdotally observing from watching the film, there's just very little unusual alignment in this offense. I mean, just the play from the last game that Dallas ran. They ran a post wheel flat combination in the second quarter. It ended up being a 6-yard completion to the running back to Dowdle. Okay, so it didn't seem like a big play, but watching it, they line up from under center in the I formation with Jake Ferguson, who's a receiving tight end for them, as lined up as a fullback, and he ends up running a wheel route to combine with a post route from Brandon Cooks on the outside. And the Eagles covered the post and the wheel pretty well in that instance, but the flat still got the first down. And also running plays like that is going to make the defense think about that differently next time. I mean, they can run out of that formation. They can run that kind of thing. The Eagles do very little of that. I mean, we saw them experiment with Devontae Smith.
I was going to say, there was like that one
out
play
of the backfield. There was like one game where they
Yeah.
did it twice or whatever. And that seems to be a thing too. They put in a package for one game. It's like seems to be specific to that defense maybe. And then we don't see it again. And it's one of those things that, Sirianni said yesterday, and we need to talk more about what Sirianni said in his presser yesterday about when it relates to CPOE, which we can talk about. But he said yesterday that formation, when he was asked about motion, he said that formation can give you information as well as that motion, right? But the formations don't seem to be particularly diverse. Eagles do use a lot of empty. 12% empty is the third highest in the league. So maybe that's what he meant, like lining up the running back outside and seeing if the linebacker follows him. But that's, not exactly a sophisticated.
And it's static most of the time.
Yes, exactly.
The not having it unbalanced, the 31st in 3-by-1 sets is so bizarre to me. It's the one that jumps out the most to me because it feels like you have this superpower of having these 2 elite wide receivers plus Dallas Goedert, like to be able to move those guys around and overload the defense on one side if you can, or like isolate a guy with just one. I don't know. That feels like such a missed opportunity to me. I'm not.
Yeah,
the
no,
expert,
it
but
does.
That's the one to
and
me that's
sometimes
like,
you'll see
why?
offenses that rank really
What's
high
the
in these
reason?
metrics, and they're terrible. So it's like it's not obvious that just doing those things.
But that is one where oftentimes I think that Nick's use of a wise man avoids all extremes is much more results driven than process driven. It's like we don't want to rank in like effectiveness in any category that low, but from a like building the offense standpoint, that one in particular to me is so bizarre. Why wouldn't you want to just play around with these like chess pieces that you have a little bit more?
We all silly like the mayor.